The Real Epstein Story, Power, Crimes, and the Unsolved Mystery. Introduction. This is not just a crime story. It is a chronicle of systemic failure, where money and connections prove to be more powerful than the safety of hundreds of children. This is the story of how a former math teacher without a degree built a financial empire, created a secret network of the world's most powerful people, and used it to commit monstrous crimes. Quick facts. Who? Jeffrey Epstein, 1953 to 2019, American financier and convicted sex offender. Crimes: running a massive network that recruited and sexually exploited underage girls, some as young as 14, from at least 2002 to 2005. Accomplice: Ghislaine Maxwell, daughter of a media mogul, convicted of sex trafficking and sentenced to 20 years in prison. The mystery: his death in a jail cell in 2019. The official ruling is suicide, but it has spawned countless conspiracy theories. Chapter 1: The Rise. How a Teacher Became a Millionaire. In the 1970s, Jeffrey Epstein, from a working-class family in Brooklyn, worked as a physics and math teacher at the prestigious Dalton School. Without a college degree, his diplomas were fake. He impressed everyone with his intellect. A parent of one of his students was so impressed that he offered Epstein a chance on Wall Street. In 1976, Epstein started working at the investment bank Bear Stearns. When they discovered his diplomas were forgeries, management decided to ignore it because he was too valuable. By age 27, he became a partner, then started his own wealth management firm. Epstein's fortune was estimated at $600 million. He owned a private Boeing 727 jet, mansions in New York and Palm Beach, and 2 private islands in the Caribbean, Little St. James and Great St. James, which later became known as Epstein Island. His guide into the world of global elites was Ghislaine Maxwell, who introduced him to princes, presidents, and senators. Chapter 2: The Scheme and the First Collapse, 2005 to 2008. In March 2005, police in Palm Beach were contacted by the parents of a 14-year-old girl. They said their daughter received $300 for a massage at Epstein's mansion, which ended in sexual assault. The investigation revealed a horrifying pattern. Epstein and Maxwell recruited underage girls, often from troubled homes, promising them money for massages. These sessions inevitably escalated to rape. Investigators found that girls were also encouraged to bring new victims, creating an endless cycle of abuse. Dozens of victims were identified, but some estimates suggest over 1,000 victims. Despite the scale of the crimes, in 2007, prosecutors made an unprecedented deal. U.S. Attorney Alexander Acosta signed a secret agreement that essentially granted Epstein immunity from federal prosecution. In 2008, Epstein pleaded guilty to 2 minor state charges and received 18 months in prison. The sentence was a mockery of justice. He was allowed to serve time in a private wing and spend 12 hours a day outside of jail, including time at his office. This country club sentence caused outrage, but Acosta's career survived. He later became U.S. Secretary of Labor under President Trump, resigning after the Epstein scandal resurfaced. Chapter 3: New Investigation, Arrest and Death, 2018 to 2019. Justice began to emerge in 2018, when a series of investigations by the Miami Herald brought the Epstein deal back into the spotlight. Under public pressure, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York reopened the case. On July 6, 2019, Epstein was arrested on new federal charges of sex trafficking and running a criminal enterprise. He faced up to 45 years in prison. However, just 1 month later, on August 10, 2019, the 66-year-old Epstein was found dead in his cell at the Manhattan Federal Jail. The medical examiner's official ruling: suicide. The circumstances of his death triggered a storm of conspiracy theories that persist today. Broken cameras. The hallway surveillance cameras malfunctioned or were not recording. Removed watch. Epstein was taken off suicide watch just hours before his death. Unusual injuries. The autopsy revealed a broken hyoid bone, an injury more common in strangulation than hanging. Only in 2025 did the U.S. Department of Justice officially state that no evidence of murder was found, reaffirming the suicide ruling. But this did little to sway public opinion. Chapter 4: The Big Questions and the Epstein Files 2024 to 2026. Epstein's death gave birth to the main myth of this case, the existence of a client list containing the names of all the celebrities involved in orgies on his island. Between 2024 and 2026, under the Epstein Files Transparency Act, the DOJ began releasing declassified documents. Over 1 million pages were released, including victim testimonies, letters, and phone books. What was actually found? 1. No client list exists. The FBI and DOJ stated there is no single master list of compromising names or proof that Epstein systematically blackmailed powerful people. 2. Many famous names appear: Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, Bill Gates, etc., but this does not prove their involvement in crimes. Their names appear in emails, flight logs, or simply as contacts in an address book. The only person who truly suffered from the releases was Britain's Prince Andrew. A key witness, Virginia Roberts Giuffre, who died by suicide in 2025, testified under oath that Ghislaine Maxwell forced her to have sex with the prince when she was 17. Although Prince Andrew settled the lawsuit out of court and denied all allegations, the scandal destroyed his reputation. King Charles III stripped his brother of all titles and evicted him from the royal residence. Conclusion: the story of Jeffrey Epstein remains an open book. It teaches us that power and wealth can be the best shield against justice for a long time. But eventually, the truth emerges, even if it is never complete. Epstein's death, the files, and the unanswered questions ensure this case will be debated for decades to come.